The trouble didn't start in the garage. It started the moment the HOA decided my very existence was a problem. Miriam Cole, our self-appointed queen of the board, had a grudge the size of Texas against me from the day I moved in. My lawn was perfect, my driveway spotless, flags folded sharp enough to slice glass, but she couldn't stand one thing, my garage. Or rather, what I kept in it. Before we go any further, comment which country you're watching from, and make sure to subscribe, because tomorrow's story is one you definitely don't want to miss. Now, I'm an Army commander by trade. Discipline, preparation, and redundancy, those aren't hobbies, they're muscle memory. So when Miriam started sending those polite but venom-laced letters, please adjust exterior storage, and reminder, community standards apply to all residents, I brushed it off as classic HOA nonsense. Then the fines started coming in. A parking citation that never happened, a storage violation for my closed garage, and finally, a warning about unapproved items visible from the street. Yeah, from inside a garage. Each letter ended the same way. We don't want trouble, but we'll make things uncomfortable. That line, that was the start of war. I reported her, documented every letter, every timestamp. But one morning I walked outside and found my windshield smashed, two tires slashed, and a note scratched into my hood. Next time, we take more. I handed everything to the sheriff. Photos, footage, the whole 9 yards. He warned me, bullies like that escalate if you don't stop them early. He wasn't wrong. Soon, the neighbors were whispering. Nobody wanted to say her name out loud. Miriam's got clout, they'd mutter. She likes to keep the place tidy, others would say. The kind of tidy that meant you better not make waves. So I didn't. I fortified. Extra motion lights, new cameras with cloud backup, signs saying private property, video surveillance. I told my daughter, if anyone comes claiming to be HOA enforcement, call the sheriff. She rolled her eyes, but she got it. Then came the shift. That heavy, quiet tension you can feel. Miriam started showing up at block events with that clipboard, grinning like she owned every house she looked at. Warnings turned to written citations. So I went to the next HOA meeting and laid it all out: photos, police reports, timestamps. She smiled. I'm concerned about community safety, she said, but you're making enemies. That phrase was her weapon. So I prepared for the kind of people who think paperwork gives them power. I called Marcus, an old brother-in-arms from my unit. He sleeps with a rifle under his bed and still wakes up at 0500 out of habit. We checked every camera angle, every blind spot. He added a hidden feed trained straight on the garage door. We joked about living in a spy movie. We joked because the alternative was giving in to paranoia. Then one night, while reviewing footage, we heard a dull thunk from the garage. Not random, not wind. Metal on metal. Marcus froze. I pulled up the back door feed. 4 men. Reflective vests, moving with precision. Their vests read HOA cop in big block letters. Cheap badges, real crowbars. I moved without thinking. Opened the safe. 2 old service pistols. Checked them like I had 1,000 times before. One tucked at my back. Marcus gave me one look, the kind soldiers use when words are useless. We descended the stairs, silent. The sound of steel bending echoed through the garage. Then I heard it. Check the racks. Commander keeps unregistered weapons in here. HOA wants them confiscated. Excuse me? HOA wants to confiscate my guns? My jaw locked. I stepped into the doorway. Afternoon, gentlemen. They froze. The leader puffed his chest, waving a clipboard like it was a badge. Sir, this is official HOA business, he barked. You're required to comply. I tilted my head. Hazardous material? This is my private garage. You broke into it. That's called a felony. Marcus chuckled. Authorized by who? Your club president, Miriam? That one landed. One of them actually flinched. These weren't random thugs. They were scared men doing dirty work for a petty queen. I stepped forward. Here's how this is going to go. You're going to explain why you broke into my garage. You're going to do it while standing perfectly still. If you twitch, I'll assume self-defense. The smallest one panicked, lunged at me with a pair of plastic cuffs. Bad move. Training kicked in. I sidestepped, twisted his wrist, and slammed him face first to the floor. The cuffs clattered. Marcus grabbed another, pinned him to the tool bench with a crash. The last 2 rushed us. A full-blown charge. Marcus and I split like clockwork. I dropped one with a forearm to the jaw, swept his legs clean. Marcus sent the last one sprawling with a shoulder throw and an elbow that would make a drill sergeant proud. 4 bodies, 1 floor, zero doubts. I leveled the pistol, not at them, but at the concrete beside one guy's head. The metallic clink was enough. Listen carefully, I said. Impersonating law enforcement is a federal crime. Breaking and entering, state felony. Add attempted assault, and you're about to meet a judge. The leader's voice cracked. We were just following orders. Miriam said you were a threat. There it was, the rotten root of it all. I holstered my pistol. Marcus, call the sheriff. The sirens came faster than I expected. When the deputies arrived, the fake officers were on the ground, groaning. The footage told the rest. The deputies didn't even need a statement. You're all under arrest for impersonation, burglary, and conspiracy, one said flatly. As the cuffs clicked shut, one of the men broke down crying, confessed they were the ones who slashed my tires, broke my windshield, and left that note. Miriam had told them to. When investigators checked their phones, the text thread was a roadmap straight to her door. The neighborhood turned fast. People who once smiled at Miriam started whispering again, but this time it was about her. Turns out I wasn't her only target. She'd fined families for unapproved mailboxes, ordered fences torn down, even threatened retirees with liens over messy lawns. She wasn't a board president, she was a dictator with a clipboard. When it went to court, justice hit like a hammer. The 4 fake HOA cops pleaded guilty: trespass, impersonation, vandalism, attempted theft, probation, fines, permanent records. Miriam, she took a plea deal for harassment and conspiracy. She lost her position, barred from any HOA in the county, fined 10 grand personally. But it didn't stop there. I filed a civil suit, property damage, harassment, punitive damages. My attorney demanded $125,000. The HOA's insurer folded fast, paying out $100,000 plus full legal fees. Miriam herself had to pay an extra $15,000. And just like that, the queen lost her crown. The HOA was restructured, stripped of its power. Real oversight, real elections. Neighbors who once avoided me now stopped by with apologies and casseroles. The sheriff told me, "You did this community a favor." I looked around my garage, the same one that started it all. The walls felt quieter, safer. Marcus leaned against the tool bench, arms crossed. "Guess military protocol still works," he said with a grin. I smiled back. "Always does." They thought they could storm my life and take what they wanted. They didn't realize they just tried to raid a commander's base. And I don't lose battles. If you believe HOA bullies and fake cops deserve to be exposed, hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Because some fights don't happen on the battlefield. They happen right in your own neighborhood.